This is probably not how you expected this episode to start, right? Me just burrowing my way towards you, getting darker and darker. Welcome to Minecraft 1.18, my friends. We are down at Y 58, or should I say negative 58, all the way down at the bottom of the new expanded deeps of the world, and I am mining for diamonds. This is the optimal level to mine for them. You may have seen my video where I broke down all the math behind this, but the technique I didn't really talk about in that video was this one right here. I am burrowing through one block at a time. And so far it's actually done me pretty well. I've gotten 7 diamonds. I've barely just gotten started here. There is a little bit of a trick to this though. When you pick up items like this, you don't want to step into this space, otherwise you'll come out of the swimming mode, which we're currently in. So you move about the blocks like this, and then the items will come to you. When you move about the blocks, that's what I just said. But you know, when I'm recording, sometimes the words just don't come to me quick enough. What I meant was you fill the blocks in. That's what you do, you fill them in. And every so often I have to place down a torch. And you know what? I've actually got a dynamic lighting mod installed this season. So I could actually put it in my offhand and just go through like this and never light up any of these tunnels, and I don't think anything will spawn in it. Maybe bats would spawn down here. Anyways, for this demonstration of the grinding that I'm going to be doing, you can probably tell it's a long ways back to the beginning, and we do actually move at a slow pace, but I've designed this so when I want to go back, I dig 3 to the side, or at least I leave 3 between, and then I make my way back like this, so when I need to return, I'm still digging for diamonds. Oh, and if you do happen to make a mistake and get out of swim mode like I am right now, what you can do is place down a trapdoor. That's not a very helpful place to put it. Okay, the problem here is that I need to be at that level. So I can... Nope, now I can't put a trapdoor. It's really annoying, basically, right? I need to put a block there, come out of here, dig that away, and pick it back up. So you want to avoid that, but it's possible to get back into swim mode. Just got to bring a trapdoor with you, right? This is a very weird view. And it's kind of hypnotic, too. Just feels like a loop. Oh, we've hit a gravel patch. And one of the other things you've got to look out for is lava. Luckily here, it just flowed out slowly in front of me. I had time to stop and reverse. And I think because the lava spreads slower in the overworld, it means we don't really have to worry about it too much. We just have to react. But, you know, that one might catch me out in the future. Anyway, I'm really fond of this technique, and I hadn't done too much mining. I got some goodies together. Also did a little bit of enchanting over here. As you see, I've got some basics going on. But no XP farm or anything like that. My goal this season is actually just to take the start of the season a little slower and kind of enjoy the early game more. Now, to the side here, I've obviously been to the Nether already. We went there last episode. I've got the soul sand and magma blocks to make an elevator, and in order to get down here, I just put a ladder in the middle, and then when I put the water in on either side, it waterlogged all the way up. So now we've got like a waterlogged ladder system in the middle. And all the way up at the very top here, we have... this. This is where I put the elevators. As you can see, I've kind of built up the backside, put in a floor here for our build, and you can see where the backside of it is going to come together. And you know what? It doesn't leave me with a lot of space at all in here. And my junk is still just down here in the basement in these chests. Look, I haven't even gotten rid of this obsidian yet, which I can now do because I made myself a diamond pick. We will move these chests and whatnot up here, but first of all, I want to talk about my goal for this episode. Obviously, we're going to do a lot more building here. There is more to see than just the front side of this one, but I also want to get a food source going. You can currently see that I've got some jacket potatoes over here. And I got these thanks to the communal resources that I believe Joe and Cleo put together over here. So I've been living off potatoes, but the thing with potatoes is you gotta cook them. Now, as you can see from this chart, Minecraft has a lot of variety of food, and I wanted to pick something interesting like pumpkin pie or perhaps honey bottles as a food source, but the problem is they're really low in saturation, so you want something that sustains you longer, otherwise you'll be eating a lot of it. Now, the golden carrots are really easy to get from trading with villagers, and then when it comes to mutton, pork chops and steak, you've seen those sorts of farms time and time again. So if we settle for normal, we can grow potatoes, but then we have to cook them with fuel. So I thought a halfway interesting one here might be beetroot. And this is because we can automate the collection of beetroot with just a single villager. If we were to do that with carrots or wheat, it would require 2 villagers. And with wheat we can make bread, but it requires some crafting. Yeah, with the beetroot we can eat this stuff directly. And thanks to my Vanilla Tweaks resource pack, I've just noticed that the wiki is actually incorrect about the beetroots. These things do not provide enough saturation. And I made a mistake a second ago. It's carrots and potatoes that require 2 villagers to automatically harvest, whereas wheat and beetroot requires 1. So as boring as it is, I think bread is going to be our food for the early season here. And this right here, I think it needs an overhaul. We need a food update or something, because there's some serious potential to do some interesting things with the food tree here. However, at the moment it's pretty unbalanced and boring. At least in terms of turning a food source into a project, in my opinion. So I want to put this farm inside of our starter base, and therefore I need to do more building. So I put together the sides now, and I never really noticed it because when I designed all of this I was in creative in another world. But when you're down here, like, you barely see any of the green up top. But it's still very nice to look at. And naturally this side over here has been done as well. But I think the terrain needs to be elevated, because this build doesn't actually feel impressive when you're sort of below it looking up. It definitely looks better when the player is elevated looking at this. Anyways, this side is going to double up as an entrance, a little side entrance to this area. And now we're left with this side that I need to take care of. We're going to do that in a time lapse shortly. First of all, I have something else that I want to do first. And it involves gathering some obsidian, and I think I can be of service to other hermits, as I don't think anyone actually wants these obsidian blocks lying around, right? And yeah, you don't have to go far to, like, spot multiple of these. So I need the obsidian for a nether portal, so I've come back to where we built our first one. I'm going to dismantle this as we're no longer using it. So when I designed our glorious starter base, I didn't really think about whatever would go inside of it. And fortunately, there's going to be a nice bit of space right here at the front for a nether portal, so we can walk through that to get to our water elevators if need be. But what's more important here is just making sure that we get the start of our nether hub right. And this is terrifying. I'm immediately going back through. Those magma cubes will kill me. And it actually synchronizes up to my one, which I did not expect. So what we desperately need to do is get the nether hub height established at Y80, which is particularly terrible for me. Right in the basalt delta, but yeah, somewhere up there. And the reason I'm doing this is because Tango is in charge of the nether hub this season, so if he wants it at Y80, we should probably start getting the portals there straight away. And there we go, there it is. It might be a small detail, but it's a good thing to get established straight away, as it'll save Tango a lot of headaches later in the season. So now we need to get our nether portal properly housed by finishing the back of the build. So let's do this. It's time for a building time lapse. So there it is, looking wonderful, and if I use the zoom feature right here, you can see how I've laid out the windows at the back, going for some alternating designs. And we're left with this like wall here. This is for an expansion that I'm going to do in the future, so that's why it looks a little odd. And do you know what really makes a build? It is actually what surrounds it. So the fact that this is floating, I mean, it looks good, but once we get something built properly around it, it's going to look a lot better. And what we do have out here is a temporary beetroot field. I need to get lots of seeds. I mean, lots and lots of these seeds. Yes, you're right. I did a total brain fart. It's regular wheat seeds that we need. Now, when it comes to resources, I miscalculated how much warped wood I would need by an extraordinary amount. As for the sandstone, we barely made it, only got a few of these materials left. And that's got me thinking that I'm going to take more trips to the desert, and so we should probably hook up this nether portal with another one over in the desert so we can go get some more. And here's what I'm thinking of doing. I think I might gather some more sandstone, and also off in the distance in that direction there is terracotta, and maybe just make a pop-up stall outside of my home and try and sell these materials early game, maybe make a few diamonds. And here's the dealio. This season I've only mined 26 diamond ore, and I've also broken 2 diamond pickaxes. And so I've spent my time down here mining for diamonds and other resources, but I kind of realised by embracing the early game I hadn't really invested in enchanting. So with the permission of Rendog, I bred up some of his cows that he had out the back of his building, and then sadly slaughtered them all for their leather. And all over the place there is just sugarcane temporary farms around the edge of the lake, so pinched a bunch of this stuff as well. And with those we now have a proper enchanting setup, although I am lacking the XP at the moment. We will have to head to the Nether for some XP, and in here you can see the results of my mining sessions. I was getting tons of cobbled deep slate and next to no coal, which obviously we need for torches if we're going to go caving and whatnot. And so I had to go up to a higher height to get the coal, and also cobble, which I need to smelt into stone. So one of the things I think we're going to focus on early on is a good fuel source. But first of all, let's see if we can get ourselves a decent pick with some fortune. I think I was the first one to come into the Nether this season, and there was just quartz everywhere. And now that I need to go back and get some for XP, it's been ransacked. Someone has been through here just chipping away at all the easy to get stuff, and I think I finally found somewhere that they haven't ventured to, as there's a fair bit of quartz here. So hopefully now I can get a fair bit more for the time I'm spending here. Okay then, 41 levels. We're going to try and get fortune, and you'd like to see it there, so we'll go for a bit of a gamble. Ah, it's just unbreaking. Do I dare do it again? I think I will. Woo! Okay, fortune 2, efficiency 4 is good. And third time's a charm, right? Ah, just efficiency 4. I guess if I get an anvil I can combine those two together. Yeah, fortune 2, it's not fortune 3, is it? Also, another technique to have done here is to make a dud enchantment so that you sort of reset the enchantment and have a look at this again. So I could gamble on that, or I could just make another dud and then see what we get. Silk Touch! That is absolutely perfect. So with the efficiency 4 pick, I've been over at the mesa biome that you've seen, mining up a whole bunch of terracotta. And I don't actually need this myself, but I thought early game it might be a resource that could sell. So later on we'll make a little pop-up shop, put some things in there, and hopefully make a handful of diamonds to get us going. And while I was over there, I actually found a mine shaft, and this was kind of convenient because I actually need a bunch of minecart rails for what we're about to do next. And I'm also going to need a boat and some beets. And this area, by the way, is a place where quite a few other hermits have settled in, and it is just looking amazing, right? And just beyond it the other day when I was exploring, I found some villagers, a villager breeder to be exact. And this is why I'm going to need some rails, because we're going to pinch a villager from over here. And you know us hermits, we're always down to help each other out. I don't actually know whose this is, and it looks like there's one there that I could pinch already. So I'm going to give the ones up top some beets, which should start them breeding. I think they took the beets, so now they should start sharing them, which should breed up some more villagers. I'm also pretty darn sure that that diorite block is going to cause the villager some damage. This is also the pretty much exact same system that we used last season, so yeah, nothing here is out of the ordinary for me. Right, and now what I'm going to do is try and transport you all the way back while it's daytime. And so far so good. This is as far as the rails got me. And because it's daytime, I'm hoping that no zombie has crawled out of a cave and taken out our villager. And you might be wondering why I'm not taking 2 of these and building my own villager breeder. I just want to play this game kind of like slow and casual here at the beginning. We will do some cool things with building and projects as always, but I'm not going to rush into the end game and do a villager trading hall, because I could have Silk Touch books and all of that sort of stuff by now, but I want to kind of play it old school. So I brought a boat because I figured I could get the villager closer to my base in a boat, but moving them between minecarts and boats is often a bit of a pain. So I think I'm just going to build myself a bridge straight over here to Scar's absolutely incredible day one build, a giant treehouse. Look at that thing. Alright then, we got the villager all the way back, and for now I'm just going to park it up in a nice and safe space so nothing can get to it. And I think we're actually ready to start to build the farm that's going to go in this area, and it's going to go up the top in the attic space. So we're going to have a platform up top, and on it we're going to have some rails with a hopper minecart that will pick up the wheat that the villager will farm directly above it. So I got to create like a little bit of a rail network here. Maybe network is too fancy of a term, but this can be a little bit tricky when you're trying to cover every single space and the area that you're operating in is unconventional. So the center is like, let's say this block here, because it can only go 4 blocks in each direction because we're going to have water in the middle and it needs to hydrate all of the soil. And so you can see here that this isn't possible because we're like left with a dead space. So on one side we just have to come outside of the area where we actually need to collect things from, and then the rest of this can be hooked up. So I got to put some powered rails in here obviously, but the really cool thing is that I can put the water in the middle, and thanks to some changes a couple of updates back, the water no longer flushes out the rails. So up here at this level, that's where the farmer's going to do its business. So I've sorted out the powered rails, I've been tidying up the space here so that a villager can occupy yet not escape, and around the back here we've got a classic minecart unloader, and it just sends the items down to the bottom where I can access them from those 2 chests. So I get to fill all of this in now, then we get to till all of the soil with a hoe, and then here in the middle we're going to place a composter which the farmer is going to try and fill up, but we're not going to let it do that by putting trapdoors around the outside. So the farmer is going to harvest the wheat when it's fully grown, but it won't be able to put it in its inventory because we're going to fill its inventory up with seeds first of all. Also, you might notice this stuff over here is out of range. I made a little bit of a mistake here when I was tidying up the space. And a shout out to Logical Geek Boy for this one. I watched his video to learn how this would be possible. It's a really cool technique that I wasn't aware of before. So the villager does have an inventory, we know about that. If we fill it up with seeds first of all, then it's only ever going to be able to pick up seeds, and wheat isn't going to go inside of its inventory. Now you need about 8 stacks, and I think I've given it just over 10. Although it looks like it hasn't picked up a single one yet. And that might be because it can't pick anything up until it has a profession, right? So now you're a farmer, let's go and give you... Oh no, it did actually pick some of them up, just not all of them. Interesting. And if I trade with a guy, he'll stay a farmer forever. Right? There we go, first trade for me. And let's pick those seeds back up. Yeah, I think it was actually 6 stacks that it has for its inventory, not 8. So now we just got to transport this guy up to the top, and I'm not sure if I said it or not, but the link to the Logical Geek Boy video will be down in the description box down below. It's a great tutorial if you want to learn how to do this yourself. Well, I have just heard a very bad sound for when you're trying to transport a villager upwards. Let's see what's happening out the front here. Yeah, okay. We got visitors. Alright, they're shooting each other. This is the way to do it. I've got 2 shields here. What happens if I hold right click and I get shot multiple times? I'm wondering if the other shield will step in. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Oh, and now there's phantoms coming for me too. I might die. Haven't died yet this season, and I would like to keep it that way for a while. So this composter can go. There's another one up the top for its profession, and now we just got to give it a little nudge and made it a nice old staircase to get up to the top. And this should go off without a hitch, right? I heard it just take damage, and the thing is, everything here is built out of slabs, so I'm not sure where it would have taken that. Where is it? No! Where is it gone? As far as I can tell, it's literally just vanished into thin air. There is no sign of it anywhere here. It's not anywhere to be found in this base. Like, the minecart or the villager, and I've got hitboxes on, so if it was somewhere here, it would show up, right? What a complete and utter mystery that was. Like, where on earth did that thing go? It just totally straight up vanished. So I looked and I searched and I could not find, and I had to get another villager. But I've taken care of all of what you've already seen in this episode and got the villager up the top. Also, I got a bit of morning voice because it's a new day and I've just finished bringing this guy over here. And look at that, it's doing the job. Awesome. Obviously, though, we got to pick up all of the wheat on the ground, so we chuck that down over here. It's going to go around all of those rails, right? Yes, it's not going to get stuck. And all of the wheat has been picked up, and then it's going to come back out. Uh-huh. Right? Yes. Oh, thought we might have had another problem for a second there. Oh, it picks up seeds as well. Interesting. But our villager up top has probably got a full inventory of seeds still, and it's got the wheat too. And this is just your life now, my friend, hanging out in the attic and growing wheat. And so the whole point of this was to get a food source where we didn't need to cook it, because that would require some fuel. So instead of jacket potatoes, we are now going to be eating bread for the meantime, and probably later on we'll find a better source. But there we go, that's taken care of. And here's a little something else it takes care of as well. I can turn this into bone meal, of course. 2 pieces, yeah, 2 pieces. But anyway, if I AFK in the area, of course we're going to accumulate both of those resources with time. So we have our base established, now a source of food, and the next thing I need to get on top of is a source of XP, so that we can really get geared up and get going. Scar's tree is fantastic. I can't stop staring at it. I walk out of my house, I look at it and like, Scar, you're officially a madman. But anyway, that's going to be it from me at this episode of Hermitcraft. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you soon with another one. Take care. Bye-bye.